Hello and welcome to a new edition of Daily Debate. I'm Mohammed Abdel Menem. Today we'll discuss two important topics. The first one is President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi took part in the graduation ceremony of the second batch of the Ministry of Endowment imams from the military academy in Cairo on Tuesday. Addressing this ceremony, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said imams shoulder the responsibility of spreading true knowledge of and principles of mercy and tolerance. So that will be our first segment and topic to discuss. The second topic, we'll talk about Cairo is hosting New Space Africa Conference 2025 at Egyptian Space City under the theme Empowering Africa's Economy Through Space-Driven Innovation. That will be our second topic today. So let's kick off with this report about the graduation ceremony of the second batch of the Ministry of Endowment imams from the Military Academy in Cairo today.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnessed on Tuesday the graduation ceremony of the second batch of Endowment's Ministry Imams from the Military Academy in Cairo. Addressing the ceremony, President al-Sisi said imams shoulder the responsibility of spreading true knowledge and the principles of mercy and tolerance. He added that he directed the Ministry of Endowments and state institutions, atop of which the Egyptian Military Academy, to lay out a comprehensive training program to boost the scientific, cultural and moral proficiency of preaching. President al-Sisi added that this would strengthen communications with the society and broaden its awareness while preserving its solid core. And the head of state added that renewing religious discourse meant the need for well-aware preachers who have a wealth of knowledge, science and of current challenges. The presidential spokesman said that graduation, which includes 550 imams who studied for 24 months, comes in line with the directions of President al-Sisi, aiming to contribute the upgrading of religious discourse, developing communication mechanisms, countering fanatic thinking and boosting awareness of contemporary challenges. The spokesman said the celebration included showing a documentary on the success of the round and full research of the impact of the encyclopedic knowledge of imams on executing tasks.
Welcome back. To shed more light on this issue, we're joined by Dr. Hassan Wagih, professor at Al-Azhar University. Dr. Hassan, thanks for being with us. Hello, Dr. Hassan,
hello,
can
yes.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yeah, thanks for being with us, Dr. Hassan.
You are welcome, sir.
Well, to start with, could you shed light on the most important points said by President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi today in the graduation ceremony of the imams of the Ministry of Endowments graduation today?
Yes, that was a very comprehensive statement on the part of the President, and it highlights the very important issues regarding reforming religious discourse, regarding training imams, and trying to be comprehensive in our orientation of getting imams on the right platform for not only for seeking the true essence of religion, but also to enlarge their horizons and to open up the horizons for other sciences, knowledge, and how to deal with issues and how to get their message across. And this is very important and thorny in the social media era, as we have seen these days.
Well, as you said, Dr. Hassan, the digital era we're living these days, how far is training now is different for imams than it was like 10 or 20 years ago, considering social media and internet and the challenges we face nowadays?
Yes, of course, we have far more different milieu, far different atmosphere. And when we are talking about social media algorithms, artificial intelligence, we are witnessing deep fake amplifications. And we can see a lot of anarchic statements, and everyone is the owner of his own magazine and his own platform. So it became so much different. How to deal with this pluralism, how to deal with this atmosphere. The atmosphere is so different. You know, 20 years ago, your question is very important, by the way, thank you for it. Because when we had Islamophobic discourse and we have Islamophobia, we used to know who are the groups, who are the members. Nowadays, you have people who are really hiding their personalities, hiding their entities. You cannot put your thumb on them. You cannot track down them easily. So it became much more difficult scene, much more difficult situation, and this needs a lot of knowledge, a lot of awareness, and how to cultivate the right atmosphere and the right knowledge, and to handle that with a great deal of patience and a great deal of dealing with different people, different audience, different platforms.
So, in your opinion, Dr. Hassan, that means that we should have imams that are skilled in internet and skilled at using these new modern tools that people and young people are using nowadays. Do you think these new training provide them with needed skills to do that?
Yes, of course. The good skills are there to be learned, and you have two directions. One direction is to deal with artificial intelligence tools and ways, and the explosion of this AI revolution, which actually needs to be regulated not only by imams but by the state and the imam and by all those who care about regulating that kind of monster. Really, you can benefit a lot out of it, actually. You can benefit a lot in knowledge seeking. You can benefit a lot from getting the information ready for everyone. And the tools are very good when you use them properly. But again, you know, when we are talking about artificial intelligence, some people talked about the tools as atheist tools, because they are not human beings. Of course, they have no religion. And also they could be used by the atheist campaigns all over the world. Of course, the atheist campaigns are increasing tremendously in using these tools. And you have to get our imam aware of that kind of reality, to deal with it in a very efficient and very patient-based, containment-based, how to deal with angry, how to deal with emotional instability, how to deal with, you know, there are many new recent sciences that our imams and not our imams only, all individuals, even diplomats, even journalists, needs to get acquainted with this new revolution. We are witnessing a real new revolution and explosion of AI that needs to be regulated.
Well, Dr. Hassan, considering all these, you know, revolutionary movements around the world, considering these new technologies eruption every like few days or few weeks, what are the major challenges facing our imams when they come to address or talk to young men and women these days?
Yeah, actually, they have to update their knowledge, number one. Number two, they have to be economic. You are witnessing a revolution in video clips.
Yes.
And video clips reaching, it has a very high reach. And they can people who are really became master of this and get their message across in 3 minutes. You know, talking 15 minutes is long now. Taking 3 and making condensation, making economy of language, making economy of the message, making the message effective and very quick to reach the audience. All these are training. These are important skills. But if you have the low pace, the slow pace, and going to the literature of the past only, without updating their knowledge, without even getting all the information they have studied to be relevant to the right situation and to the current situation, I think youth complain from that. So I think that what we have witnessed today is something great, because the President and the Ministry of Waqf is giving a very important attention and awareness that imams should be trained from different institutions and different national institutions. So I think this multi-system or system thinking to be cultivated in the imam is very, very important, and I think this is a very good step that we have witnessed today.
So you mentioned a very important point here when you talked about the collaboration of different institutions in the country to train and provide, you know, extraordinary or unique or excellent training for imams. What is the role Al-Azhar can play in preparing such imams for the future, in concerning curricula, concerning training courses, concerning, you know, different approaches for young men and women?
Yeah, I think Al-Azhar can do a lot, and Al-Azhar has been, and it will always be a place where people direct themselves to gain knowledge and to gain the bit that's known and thought in knowledge, but also the constant things of religion, jurisprudence, the creed, hadith of the Prophet, peace be upon him, of course the Holy Quran and the interpretation of the Holy Quran. These are basic courses. These are basic and very important, and the core of training of the imam. But in addition to that, you know, Al-Azhar also is very keen to conduct the training. Al-Azhar already provided Al-Marsad, the observatory. Al-Azhar provided several modalities and several tools and several channels. And also, when you are talking about quality assurance in the universities of Al-Azhar, this would enable all the faculties, like Faculty of Languages and Translation has a leading role in that. And of course, when we are updating our curriculum, updating our syllabi, yes, we are adding to the core issues Al-Azhar is dealing with, hopefully with great good luck.
Well, Dr. Hassan Wagih, professor at Al-Azhar University, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Now, let's move to our second topic. Cairo is hosting New Space Africa Conference 2025 at the Egyptian Space City under the theme Empowering Africa's Economy Through Space-Driven Innovation. Let's follow this report, and after that we'll come back and discuss this topic. Please stay tuned.
For the fourth consecutive year, the New Space Africa Conference 2025 strengthens its position as the first gathering for African and international space stakeholders, organized by Space in Africa in collaboration with the African Space Agency, AFSA. This year's edition is hosted by the Egyptian Space Agency at Egypt Space City, Cairo. The conference, which runs from 21st to 24th of April, hosts an extraordinary gathering of over 500 delegates from 300 organizations and 65 countries worldwide, thus gathering government officials, commercial companies, academia, technological experts and industry leaders to shape the future of Africa's space ecosystem and its global partnerships. Among the distinguished attendees are Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli, the Egyptian Space Board of Directors, the Angolan Minister of Telecommunications and Information Technologies, the head of the EU delegation to the African Union, the EU ambassador to Egypt, and the Arab League, the Commissioner for Agriculture, Rural Development, Blue Economy and Sustainable Environment, African Union, the Minister of State for Information, Communications Technology and National Guidance, Uganda. In addition, the Executive Director of the International Astronautical Federation, the Director General of the Islamic World Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, the Deputy Director of the United Nations Office for Outer Space Affairs, the President of the Council of the African Space Agency, the International Space University, and the CEO of the Egyptian Space Agency. Additionally, the conference welcomes the head of space agencies from over 25 African nations who provide exclusive updates on their respective space programs, highlighting advancements, challenges and future strategies which will shape the continent's growing space sectors.
Welcome back. So the new Space Africa Conference 2025 in Egypt is running from the 21st until the 24th of April, with the main aim of enhancing space innovation and economic development in the continent. To shed more light on this topic, we are joined by Dr. Wagih Ali Badr, Master of Plenipotentiary and board member of the United Nations Association of Egypt. Dr. Wagih, thanks for being with us.
Good evening for you and your viewers, and thank you for inviting me. It's my honor to be with you again.
The honor is mine. So, Dr. Wagih, you wanted to say some comments about the attendance of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi to the graduation of imams at the military academy today. Please go ahead.
In fact, it's my honor to say some words about the opening or the graduation of imam, which attended by His Excellency Mr. President, and I think this is the first time for Mr. President to attend the inauguration of Imam, which give you very positive sign that we moved from infrastructure to human build. Now, and this human capital build human capital. This it's very important for you to make a balance between infrastructure and human capital. This what we request many times before, not myself, but many people that they request to go directly after we finish infrastructure to build human capital. And also, this is another sign about the importance of Imam. So Imam for Muslims and also for the church. So we should use our power. This I consider Imam, it's one of our power just to
soft power.
Yeah, soft power.
Yes.
To do what? To try to make balance for your local here, and in the meantime it's your arm to implement your foreign policy abroad, especially in Africa and in Southeast of Asia. You can't imagine that this mission traveling from here to spread moderate Islam in Africa and in Southeast of Asia, their role very important, and in fact they facilitate our mission abroad. Can you imagine that the mission from Al-Azhar and the mission from the church, they facilitate to implement our foreign policy in Africa and also in Asia?
Because they have a lot of respect there.
Yes.
Actually all around the world.
Yes.
Yes.
And Mr. President, he touched this very important point to attend to that and to give to Imam from Ministry of Waqf or endowment, as you mentioned, that your role, it's very important.
Yes.
Your role in Egyptian society, it's very important. That because of what? Imam, he is dealing with father and mother and the children. He is dealing with individual people and also in family. So the third sign of this attending of Mr. President is that he still insists about the role of Egyptian family in our life, to make balance between IT and AI and its influence in our life and to the life of family, because family we consider is as the factor to make a stabilization between future and what we are living now. The last point, if you follow the speech of Mr. President, he touched many religious aspects. In fact, I heard or I watched Mr. President when he is delivering his speech. It was very strong, very informative, in fact, and also it make all of us that the religious side in our life, it's very important, and we give and the Mr. President give them more attention and more respect. If you just one sentences which Mr. President he mentions that we would like to develop comprehensive training program, focus on owning the skills of Imam scientifically, culturally, and behaviorally. And this program aims to raise the level of preaching and enhance communication tools within the society. It's a communication within the society. And this will enable Imam to be beacons of awareness, capable of expressing clearly, adapt and faithful in conveying information and present with penetrating awareness and a deep understanding of various intellectual issues and the current challenge. You know, current challenge. This we are living in a challenge. You in your family, myself as a dad, for my children. It's a challenge how to balance between our rules and for IT and AI, how to make them to balance about our culture, and in the same time I push my children and most of our dad in Egypt to compete other youth globally, how to make balance between both sides. So by the speech of Mr. President, he did the equations between what we need for the future and our roots and our culture. And I appreciate this very much.
So that stresses the importance of the government focusing on imams and providing them with unique and exceptional training in order to face all these challenges. So let's move to our topic now, New Space Africa Conference 2025. Under the theme, Empowering Africa's Economy Through Space-Driven Innovation. What can you get to start with, from the theme title, Empowering Africa's Economy Through Space-Driven Innovation?
It's an item between many items of collaboration or cooperation between Egypt and Africa. So it's a matter of accumulation of item of cooperation. Let us start with infrastructure. Mr. President, he is the president of NEPAD 2063. One of the items of NEPAD, this item. This number one. Number two, 3 days back, there is a meeting in Kinshasa, Congo, Democratic Congo.
Yes.
To do what? To accelerate the steps of putting SEFTA in order. SEFTA is the free trade agreement. This would cover all Africa, north to south, east to west. And this, it's very...
So NEPAD is working on a free trade treaty?
No, NEPAD is working for infrastructure.
Okay.
SEFTA, it's a free trade agreement.
Yes. In Africa.
In Africa.
Yes.
Secretary of this SEFTA in Ghana, in Accra.
Okay.
And you know, each country in Africa, they are hosting one of the meeting. So ministerial meeting, it was in Kinshasa few days back. And Egypt was there with very huge delegation insisting about putting this agreement in force, and in the meantime pushing other countries which doesn't sign on this agreement to push them to sign and to make legalization. So if we saw to Africa, we are 54 countries. There are 48 countries already legalized on this SEFTA or this agreement.
Okay.
So in fact, this it's very important. Number three, also we have an agreement for promoting investment in Africa. So to promote investment, because of what? Unfortunately, investment between African countries is a very poor number, and also internal trade between African countries, it's very low. You know,
African countries trade
12%.
Okay.
In Europe, it's 72%. In Asia, it's 62%. And we are in Africa, we are only 12%.
Okay.
So we are very poor, in fact, in trade between African countries.
So talking of trade and investment, how can companies and nations leverage shared expertise to leapfrog their technological progress and drive meaningful advancements in this promising sector? I'm talking about new space in Africa. This is like a brand new investment sector in Africa.
You know, it's a message to other countries that Africa, we can do all things, including IT and AI, and also in space. This number one. Number two, the problem of African countries, we have poor infrastructure. So it's not easy to move in African countries, except North African countries, and also, of course, except Kenya and South Africa. The rest of African countries, it's not easy to move. So they chose Egypt to lead in NEPAD 2063 because of what we have a good experience in infrastructure. This is number one. Number two, related to bring or Egypt to lead Africa into space. This it's a very valid point because this industry it has high value added like IT and AI. So if we start by space, sure, we are going to have another agency for IT and AI. And all industries related IT and AI or artificial intelligence, the profit rate or this, it's very high. And this is the industry of future. So if Egypt can or succeed to convince other African countries to have another agency for IT to be in Egypt, in Cairo, it will be great success for our government. Besides this African space
Talking of agencies, actually on the eve of the conference, Egypt launched the African Space Agency with a capital of $50 million to guarantee investments in the African continent and consolidate investors' credibility, marking a historic milestone for Africa's space program. So Egypt launching African Space Agency and providing a capital of $50 million investment for that. How far that could be like a leaping point or a starting point for Africa to go forward from this point?
It's a good start. And also to provide financing for this African agency, it's very important. Number two, Egypt tried to go back to our role in Africa because since 1995, you know, we closed the file of Africa. Some other countries already replaced you. So we would like to go back. It's not easy to go back to Africa. You should pay. You should host many agents, African agents in Cairo. You should.
Yes.
We should pay a lot of money to go back again to have the lead in Africa. And it's not easy. It will take time. I can make assessment of this point that at least we need more 5 years. Because
but we've been almost doing this for almost like 10 years.
Yes, 5 years more.
5 more years.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because of what? The land which you
lost.
left or you lost, somebody else occupied it.
Yes.
So we would like to kick him a little bit, or we don't want to kick. We would like to have
to share.
To share it.
Yes.
Yeah. Very small share at the beginning, and after that we can enlarge our share in Africa. This we should understand this because there is classic countries like European countries, France, UK, Germany, Holland, and there is a new player. That new player, it's China, India, Turkey,
South Africa.
No, South Africa. It's African countries.
Yeah,
and it's normal to play.
Yes.
So I'm talking about foreigner players.
Yes.
Yeah. So Israel, Turkey, India, China, and we can add now Brazil.
Yes.
So you should face with very solid situation the classic players and the new players. So that's why I mentioned that we need to share now. And this we try. Mr. President Sisi, he tried many times. Yeah, as you, we followed before, that Mr. Sisi, he is participating in all African meeting, in all African conferences, and in the meantime, he welcome to host many agencies.
In Cairo.
In Cairo, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. We have investment agency in Cairo, and we have this space agency in Cairo, and in the meantime, we would like to have another office for Secretary of Safety to be in Cairo.
So actually Egypt is doing a lot of effort to support Africa in different fields, and talking of this New Space Africa Conference, Egypt has launched the African Space Agency with a capital of $50 million. We have another report. Let's watch this report, and we'll be back after the report. Stay tuned.
Africa's long-standing ambitions in space took a historic step forward with the official inauguration of the African Space Agency. At its permanent headquarters in Egypt's space city Cairo, the landmark event marked the culmination of nearly a decade of strategic groundwork that began in January 2016 when the African Union Assembly adopted the African Space Policy and Strategy during its 26th ordinary session, establishing the framework for a coordinated continental approach to space activities. The inauguration ceremony was attended by a prestigious group of guests, including African Union Commission officials. The participants highlighted the significance of this occasion, coinciding with the ESA's 50th anniversary and the inauguration of the African Space Agency, and emphasized that through equitable and fair collaboration, he hopes to celebrate another milestone in 50 years when ESA turns 100 and AFSA turns 50, not just as anniversaries, but as two continental institutions that have made transformative contributions to the global space community. They expressed their commitment to strengthening ties with Africa, particularly through partnerships, and reaffirmed NASA and the U.S. dedication to collaborating with Africa, citing the ATMIS Accords signed by Angola, Nigeria and Rwanda, alongside numerous bilateral agreements to enhance commercial and governmental space utilization for sustainable development. The speakers further pledged that NASA would remain a reliable partner, ensuring collaborations yielded tangible results that would swiftly elevate Africa as a space power. They highlighted regional cooperation through initiatives like the Emirates Mars mission and the Arab Space Cooperation Group, pledging to expand ongoing collaborations with African nations into robust continent-wide programs that accelerate space development, spanning satellite development, training programs, expressing eagerness to collaborate with AFSA, outlining 3 key pillars: legal, technical and scientific cooperation.
Welcome back. So, Dr. Mungi, what are your expectations concerning collaboration with European countries in that new field for Africa? I'm talking about space, of course.
In fact, I had a feeling that European countries would like to do something to help African countries in this field. Number 2, they would like to have a step forward before other countries like China, Russia, or other countries. Number 3, many African already they have their education in Europe. So, you know, they are very close to the culture of African countries, especially West Africa. The other point, they have a technology in this sector, and we can use their technology to develop African space agency. So it's very important for us. And in the meantime, there is a partnership between Africa and EU, and between Africa and the States, between Africa and Russia, between Africa and India, and between Africa and Japan and China. All of this,
that will take us to a question: where are the BRICS? Why don't we have? I mean, African countries don't have like a partnership with BRICS organization.
It's a very critical point, in fact, because BRICS countries, they have huge trade with Africa. So why we didn't see any observer coming from China or India or Brazil? This point, we can say that BRICS, they are concentrate on infrastructure, and also to build a harbor and the airport and the seaport, and maybe they would like to leave space for European countries to participate in this African Space Agency. Number two, that these Chinese people, they are very practical. Then they would like to put their steps in business. Nothing.
That's a huge business.
Yeah,
I mean, when we talk about infrastructure and space, projects in Africa.
You know, in international market, you should have a chair and to leave another chair to others.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a matter of balancing. So if we are going to concentrate on infrastructure, they should leave something to European countries. Otherwise, if they are going to compete in all sectors, maybe we are going to have trade war or something.
So you think China is focusing on infrastructure projects in Africa?
Yes.
And that's why it doesn't want to compete with Europe in space projects?
And they are very intelligent to behave like that.
Okay.
Yeah, to leave a part for Europe to play in this area. So we are going to leave this area for you, but don't come to our area. This number one. Number two, China, they are investing in Africa for what? For their interest. Because to build infrastructures, it will facilitate the movement of their goods. And in the meantime, they can have the cost of construction from natural resources. And Africa, it's very rich in natural resources. Number three, if you are going to improve roads and bridge, you are going to facilitate the movement of goods from the harbor to the end customer.
So that takes us to a very important question. Dr. Mungi, you said that there is a lot of work when it comes to infrastructure in Africa. So, and we are talking about the space program, African space program. Is it realistic that Africa goes for a space program where it still has a lot of work to do in infrastructure?
Yeah, because of what, if you have experience of dealing with Africa or African people, you are going to realize that they would like to have everything, but on paper. In reality, it's not easy to fulfill. Because of what? Because security, it's not okay. Roads are not okay to move from another city to other city. So you are going to find them, they are very promising in negotiation, but in reality, you are going to find a lot of excuse that why you didn't. Sometimes we talk to our brother in African countries, that we explain to them that we already agreed last meeting that you are going to do 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Why you didn't fulfill? He is going to mention to you many excuses, and you have no other option. We should accept their excuse.
Is it the geopolitical situation
Maybe.
or element in Africa that keeps Africa lagging behind?
Yeah, unfortunately, all of this what you mentioned, it's a geopolitical, it's a culture with African people. Another, don't forget the competition. There are competitors like states or Russia or EU. They don't want to make real development in Africa. They would like to leave it as it is. Because of what? They took a lot of gold,
Raw material from
raw
Africa.
material, and the copper and iron and all agricultural products. They move it from Africa and manufacturing in
Europe or the States.
Yeah. And you know that all raw material in general, the price of raw material is very low.
Yes.
But if you did only one manufacturing step, you are going to increase the added value maybe 100%.
Okay.
And this is what Mr. President, he already instructed last year, no more exporting of raw material.
Yes.
No more. And it was very positive instructions that we should make manufacturing to all our natural resources. All this, in fact, we open our mind and our heart for our brother in Africa that to share our experience. But the point of competition, some other countries are competing you. They don't want you to go back to your backyard in Africa. They would like to put barriers between you and the African countries. And we try to knock the door many times.
But that's a huge step from Egypt to launch African Space Agency and to host this African Space Conference in Cairo. And of course, Egypt could be, with its expertise in different fields, can offer a lot to Africa.
That's good. But you know, if you read in depth, you are going to find that we start with the basic. The basic of in this area. We don't have advanced equipments. This is the basic, and they already go far from that basic in Europe and America and China. So what we are doing is that according to your resources, you built this agency in Egypt. But it's a good start. I would like to go to the CEO of Egyptian Space Agency.
Okay, I only have 1 minute.
Yeah, in fact, he mentioned a very important point that he emphasized that localizing satellite technology to serve a sustainable development goal is one of the most important issues that agency is working on, this localizing. So this
localizing industry.
Yeah, industry.
That's one of the main goals of
Egypt. And he mentions that Egypt will play significant role in serving a state project, maximizing the use of agriculture, land, and monitoring urban planning projects. This will help you to discover your natural resources. And in the meantime, it should be good connection between this Egyptian Space Agency or African Space Agency and the Geographic Association in Egypt, which help you to have TABA again when they submitted many documents, many maps to our negotiation. So this, what we call from this channel, that it should be linked between Egyptian Space Agency and Geographic or Egyptian Geographic Association in Egypt. It will be excellent cooperation.
Of course. Dr. Wagih Alibad, the Minister of Plenipotentiary and board member of the United Nations Association of Egypt. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you and good night.
Good night. Well, that's all for tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Mohammed Abdul Manam. See you next week.